For example, the Masons have the square and compass. It represents the god and the goddess, the male and female reproductive plumbing.
Alchemy symbols, male and female together in one body, male and female together.
Under the influence of the Zionistic element that is always there, and they like to go in Jerusalem. They have a specific place under what is the Temple of Solomon. Still nowadays they do this practice. They have a high priestess of Melchizedek. Now this high priestess is not really a woman, is a man-woman. Is a priest. There used to be a man and a priest and a monk, I think, working for the Vatican. He's one of the biggest experts of the Bible. He's now called Michela Mercenaro. He had a sex change, approved by the Vatican. Now she is working in some kind of university officially. In reality, she's working also for the police in their investigations in the occult and occult murders, but she is the high priestess of Melchizedek of the Order of Zion, and celebrates these occult rituals in Jerusalem with the elite there, and her function is to be androgyne, because half man, half woman.
Mm-hmm. This is the god Baphomet. This is the god that the Templars were supposed to have been worshiping when they came back from the Crusades.
So the Masonic writers are telling the Pope they conceal a worship of Lucifer from the rest of the Masonic Lodge. It's according to the Masons that Lucifer is the light bearer, and the Mason who figures it out has discovered the secret.
What happens is, you get involved in the Masons, and if you know certain things, and you know how to say certain keywords, and certain signs, and certain tokens, and certain points of entrance, you are brought into a whole different kind of Masonry that does not involve the normal Masonry that most Masons experience. You begin to learn the secrets of Illuminism. And then they use a cell approach. Now, what do I mean by that? It's just like those of you that may have studied the Communist Party in the 50s and 60s. They had cells. And that meant, I didn't mean they lived in jail cells, it meant that they had a thing where they each communist only knew 2 other communists. And that way, if one of them was arrested or something, they couldn't bring down the whole organization. When I was in Milwaukee, I only knew 2 other people who were in the Illuminati. And then one of them knew somebody higher up that we could communicate with. There's 3 kinds of Masons which seem to be drawn into the deeper aspects of Illuminism. First of all, those with special hereditary bloodlines and preparation. Secondly, those who come to Masonry already prepared with an occult background. Now that was me. I was already a witch high priest when I joined the lodge. And I had all these nice little familiar spirits and ascended masters, actually they were demons, whispering things in my ear. And so when I went through the rituals, I would say certain things that would sort of trip off a lever somewhere, and I would be shunted off the main line of Masonry into a little side spur, so to speak, where all of a sudden I would be taught the deeper mysteries, and I would be admitted into the deeper things of the lodge. Then the third kind of person that gets into the Illuminati is those who are perceived as being wealthy, powerful, or the right temperament. Some of these people might not even have to become Masons. You know, like for example, Nixon was involved in the Illuminati. And many of the other powerful people in our government are Illuminists, and some of them may not have even actually been Masons. But they were so powerful that it was seen that they could be a worthy part of the conspiracy. Now, what happens as a result of all of this is that these people are gradually brought into ever higher and higher levels of seduction. They are prepared emotionally and psychologically to receive the inner teaching. They are taught forms of meditation and mind control, beginning with the spiritual exercises of the Jesuits.
Well, you're taught from childhood on. My training in how to be a programmer was very young. I was mentored by another programmer at the age of 5 by a doctor at George Washington University. And he not only did he do the programming on me, but he also taught me how to do it to others.
So you're basically involved in working on the programming of the members involved, too?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No, we didn't program people that weren't members of the group. You cannot install significantly traumatic mind control programming in a person who is not a member of the group. Now, there are certain, now what you can do is what we call passive programming, which is basically through media means. You know, you can set, if someone's watching a television program, they go immediately into alpha state, everyone in the group, I mean, even a baby in the group knows that because these people are very much into behavioral psychology, and that's a trance state almost, a very relaxed state where messages can be implemented. But no, you cannot take an adult who's not a member of the group and do what we did to them. They would go psychotic or they wouldn't survive it probably. They wouldn't be able to psychologically handle it.
Tell us some examples of what you were doing, program techniques.
Sometimes it would involve, normally it would start with a hypnotic induction, or even sometimes we'd inject the medication. A lot of times, especially young children, have a lot of fear when they're going into programming, but adults did too. We want them to relax. We'd give them a very short-acting medication to relax them. We would then invoke a hypnotic state in them. We would then, like if it's an older person, I'd be checking the codes already installed. If I was getting ready to install programming in it, and like a young child, I would tell them, explain to them very patiently exactly the behavior expected. I'd say, I want you to do this and this and this. I'd break it up into steps, and I'd say, first we're going to practice this. I would show the child what I want them to do. I'd model it. I would then tell the child, do it. The child would then do it. Okay, but normally they won't do it well the first time, so she or he would get shocked. That was called, because the group very much uses what they call positive and negative reinforcement. Okay, if the child did not do it perfectly the first time, they're shocked. That's the negative reinforcement. Then I'd say, do it again. They would show me the behavior.
They're taught the tantric principles of yoga. That's the yoga of sexuality, especially the left-handed path. Then they are introduced to hallucinogens and certain secret formulations that are used to open the third eye and bring about what is called enlightenment.
Even in the Eastern mysticism, in the New Age movement, there is a thing called Kundalini. Has anybody ever heard of that? Okay? If you talk to anybody that's ever practiced yoga or anything like that, they will tell you about Kundalini. Kundalini is some practice where you empty your mind out and go into this chant thing. And the belief is that at the base of your spine, you have a serpent all coiled up there. And through these rituals that you perform, through all these things that you do, that you release that serpent to uncoil itself up your spine to reach your pineal gland and open up your third eye. This comes right out of Genesis chapter 3. Okay? Remember who the serpent is. By the way, you know how many spines, you know how many backbones you have in your spine? Guess how many? 33. 33. What's the number, high number in Freemasonry? And it's about illumination. When this serpent goes up the 33 backbones of your spine, you receive illuminations. The 33rd word spoken to Eve in the Garden of Eden was the word eyes. When he said to her,